Well, the minority have put up a debate, the majority have also put up a debate. Both of them are seeking something differently. The minority says that they are invoking Article 97 so that the Speaker declares the seat vacant. Majority have also gone to the Supreme Court for interpretation. Can the Speaker, as it stands now, make a declaration of the vacancy of seats, even though majority has sought interpretation from the Supreme Court?
Well, look, ultimately, the matter may end up in court. But for now, the issue is correctly as put, hinges on Article 97(1). Now, for the purposes of our discussion today, can I read what Article 97(1) says?
Please go ahead.
It says, a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament. Shall vacate his seat in parliament. And then it takes us straight to G. G says, if he leaves the party, underline the word leaves, the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to parliament, to join another party. And this is another one that is important. Or seeks to remain in parliament as an independent member. So this is where the issue is. The first one, whether the person has left the party. And two, or if the person seeks to remain in parliament. So this is where the issue hinges. So the first one is, have they left the party? This is in the case of those who have indicated their intention to go independent. The question that we should ask is, have they left the party? If the answer is yes, then that's it. Done and dusted. A member shall vacate his seat. Now, that requires evidence. Do we have any evidence that they have left? At the moment, what we do have is a petition from Mr. Haruna, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, stating that the members of parliament have filed as independent candidates. And therefore, by virtue of that filing, that makes them having left their party. Now, we have seen a precedent before in relation to member of parliament Mr. Siama. In his situation, when he filed to go independent, the party wrote to the speaker and stated that by virtue of him having filed to go independent, according to its constitution, he has left the party. So there was a formal communication from the party. But in this case, there has not been a formal communication from the party. Neither has there been a formal written notice to or from the member of parliament himself. So the question is, has he left the party or has he not left the party? That is the issue now we need to deal with. Now, there's another issue, what is the correct interpretation of seeks to remain in parliament? Now, it says, or seeks to remain in parliament. Are we talking about this parliament or in the future parliament? Clearly, when you say remain in parliament, it suggests that it's current parliament we are talking about. So if it's the current parliament and they have not left their party, then there are issues whether it applies. So that is what is in issue now. Whether it will, and I can say ultimately we may need a constitutional interpretation as far as having left the party or seeks to remain in parliament. Which parliament are we talking about? Are we talking about this parliament or the future parliament? That is a matter that ultimately will pan out.
Okay. The NDC, the minority is also asking that the seats of their NPP Takwache Aka or their Memphis Central also be declared vacant. However, the NDC themselves have not written to the EC. If our conversation is anything to go by, the NDC party has not written to the speaker saying that the MP for Memphis Central is out. So if that is not it, why is NDC also including their MP, or is it a case of let one of us be in the issue so that people can see that see the gravity of it and see that we are serious?
Well, I cannot tell the intention behind it, but I can say that they have to formally write to the speaker saying that by virtue of their member going out to file his candidacy as an independent, he has left their party. Then the speaker will have a basis to declare that seat vacant. But of course, remember, that is even not the end, because the Constitution says is the High Court that can declare a seat vacant under Article 99. So even if the speaker does that, it can be challenged in the High Court to make sure that either the High Court declares that the seat is vacant or not. So this will not be the end. Whichever way the speaker goes will not be the end, because the Constitution per Article 99 makes it clear that it is the High Court that has to pronounce or declare the seat to be vacant.
Well, would you say...
That's where we...
Okay. Would you say that the contention across the opposing caucuses is due to either misrepresentation and understanding of Article 97G of the ruling, and then of Article 3 of the ruling New Patriotic Party's constitution, following the provision under 99? You just mentioned 99, saying that only high courts can declare the seat vacant, even after the speaker has. Would you say that across the caucuses there is a misrepresentation and misinterpretation of the Article 97G?
No, I think it's just a game, a political game that they are playing. And I think we have to be careful. They know exactly what the law says. And I suspect that it's just a game that they are playing. In that Article 99 clearly says that the High Court has the jurisdiction to declare a parliamentary seat vacant. So even if the Speaker makes a determination, and it's challenged, the previous one was not challenged because it was very close to an election. If it's challenged, the High Court will have to look at it. And in the time that the High Court is looking at it, there will be an injunction to make sure that a person whose rights are at stake is not wrongfully denied that opportunity. Now, in all this, we have to keep our mind on the calendar. We are left with 2 months to an election. And there's no way that this process can end before the next election. So maybe it's just the game that they are playing. I don't know. But we are in October, November, early December, there's an election, less than 2 months. So I don't understand the game that they are playing, because at the end of the day, even if the Speaker makes a decision and says, I have declared those seats vacant, that decision will still be subject to being challenged at the High Court, as per Article 99. And you know, that in itself takes some time for the High Court to decide. By that time, we would have finished voting in December. So all this is going to end up being an exercise in futility.
So it is a waste of time if you're saying it is an exercise in futility?
Because I can't see the end game having effect immediately. You may end up getting the results, but that will be way after the elections have been conducted. What will be the utility of that?
Okay. So according to the minority, they are also basing their request based on 2020, when Speaker Michael Quay declared the seats of Andrew Esiamamo vacant, following the NPP writing to him that he wasn't part of their party. The NDC, or the minority, is also basing on are also basing on Order 93 of the House regarding this matter. How do they stand? Are they standing on firm ground, or they seem to be on a slippery slope?
Look, the difference is that there was a formal communication by the party communicating to the Speaker of the relationship between the MP and the party. Now, in the absence of a formal communication, that becomes a bit tricky. However, even if the Speaker receives a formal communication and makes that decision and says, I hereby declare this seat vacant, as I said, even that will still be subject to Article 99 of the Constitution, which says the High Court has to make the final determination. The previous one was not challenged by Mr. Asiama. If he had challenged it, maybe the High Court would have made a determination for us to know exactly what is the current position. Okay. So even if, as I said, the Speaker makes such a determination, that decision will not be final. It will still have to be subject to Article 99.
Well, Kwame, when you look at the MP for Fomena, Andrew Esiama, as one of the deputy speakers, will we say that Parliament has faulted in this case surrounding who to even pick as a deputy? Because if you look at Article 96, it says that there shall be two speakers of Parliament, two deputy speakers of Parliament, who shall be elected by members of Parliament from among the members of Parliament, and both of whom shall not be members of the same political party. Andrew Esiama came into Parliament as an independent candidate. In any case, his seat was declared vacant when the MPP wrote that he was no longer a member of their party. He came to Parliament as an NPP, as an independent member, or an independent member of Parliament. However, he is a deputy speaker. Won't we say that Parliament has faulted in the way they have conducted themselves in appointing leadership for Parliament?
I'm just wondering why you're asking that question now, when the Parliament itself is about to expire.
Well, since it all feeds into the conversation, so much is happening here and there.
I know, but the whole point is that the law says they must not all belong to one party. Now, in the case of Mr. Siama, he came in as an independent. So, technically speaking, he doesn't have a party vehicle as such. But they have voted for him as second deputy speaker. Now, whether or not that is correct is another matter. But I think the time is too late now for us to be discussing it, because at the end of the day, if you and I disagree, we have to go to the Supreme Court, and they will ask, what is the point?
Okay. Well,
but if it's likely to happen again, then the Supreme Court will interpret it.
Okay.
But if it's unlikely, I'm sorry?
No, please go on. When you finish, I will ask.
Yeah, I said there's something called doctrine of mootness. If you go for interpretation, and the basis of that interpretation is that the government or something has happened, the Supreme Court will say, is this still continuing or is already determined? If the Supreme Court forms the view that it's already determined, but it's likely to happen again, then the Supreme Court will make a determination on it to make sure that when it happens again, we'll know how to look at it. So at this stage, it's possible that if we go to the Supreme Court to ask the Supreme Court to interpret that particular article, they may form a view. But because it's likely to happen again, the Supreme Court may interpret it.
The Supreme Court may interpret it. I want us to watch a video of Mahama Yarga, MP Mahama Yarga, on the floor of Parliament, and then we'll come back to the conversation.
We are dealing with very straightforward matters. I say very straightforward matters because Order 18 of our rules state clearly that the Speaker shall inform the House of the occurrence of a vacancy of the seat of a member under Clause 1, B to E, G, and H of Article 97 of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, strictly speaking, it is your province to declare the vacancy of a seat. It is your province. And you could act whether you are informed as such by a political party or because the matter has come to your attention as a matter of fact. It is your province. So, Mr. Speaker, what has just happened today is an attempt by a member of this House to bring to your notice certain factual matters, which matters establish that some members who came to this House on the ticket of political parties have gone to file as independent candidates to contest the next elections. And another member who came to this House as an independent member of parliament has gone to join a political party, because unless he joins the political party, he cannot contest on the ticket of that political party. So he's going to join a political party and has filed on the ticket of that political party. This is also a matter of fact. Mr. Speaker, all those who have spoken so far have not disputed these facts. They have not disputed these facts. And in fact, the Electoral Commission, I believe, has issued notice of polls. And these facts have become public.
As Mahama Yarga, he also has had his say on this issue. Let's look at the NPP's constitution. NPP's constitution, Article 3 says that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party, or who joins or declares his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in a general or by-election, automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. Lawyer Kwame Adofo, NPP in their own constitution says that if you stand as an independent candidate, you have automatically forfeited your place as a member of their party. Why then should they have to write to the speaker before speaker can declare a seat vacant? Per their constitution, this is what it says.
Correct. Because the speaker needs some evidence, official evidence, to be able to rely on. Because the parliament is a parliament of record. So they need an official document in order to document that there is a letter from the party stating that they have now divorced each other. And by virtue of that divorce, this seat is no longer occupied. Then the speaker will have a basis to declare it vacant. Again, and I must repeat this, the speaker's decision is not final. It's still subject to Article 99, which says that the High Court has to declare that the vacancy has existed or has arisen. So it is true. Now, formally, the MPP has to write to the speaker. Again, NDC has to formally write to the speaker to notify them that there has been a vacancy, so that the speaker can use that as a basis to make his decision.
Okay. Lawyer Adofo, can the NDC rely on the filing of nominations or filing as independent candidates and also the EC statistics? Because when EC releases the statistics, now we know where these people are going to be on the ballot. As MPP is number one, it means that their person, their MP, their candidates will also be number one on the ballot and so forth and so forth. So now that independent candidates will also file, it would obviously, if an MPP candidate files and he is an independent, he's not going to have that number one spot. Is that enough evidence to show that this person is not a member of this party anymore?
Well, the party or somebody still has to bring it to the speaker before the speaker will have it as a thesis.
Okay.
At the moment, it's just somebody's writing a letter only.
Okay. So before you go, this is not the first time people or they will be seeking, an MP has filed for an interpretation of a provision in the Constitution from the Supreme Court. However, this filing for interpretation has far-reaching consequences. We'll be relying on it to take various decisions as we move on in our democratic dispensation. Do you believe that there's a need for interpretation of this provision under the article? Or and also, what are you looking for as the Supreme Court will have to make this interpretation of the article?
Look, Articles 97 is very clear. Hello, are you there?
I am here, sir.
The only bit or parts that's a bit ambiguous is the paragraph G, the second limb. That says all seeks to remain in Parliament. That is a bit ambiguous. All seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent. Which Parliament are we talking about? Are we talking about this Parliament or the future Parliament? That's the only ambiguous part. But the rest is all clear. You leave the party. So the question is there evidence that you've left the party? If the answer is yes, full stop. But if there's no evidence that you've left the party and somebody wants to declare your seat vacant, then you have to go to the High Court and challenge it. That is the first point. But in relation to the second one, seeks to remain in Parliament. That needs to be interpreted by the Supreme Court, whether we are talking about this Parliament or the future Parliament.
Okay. But lawyer, from your earlier submission, you are saying that the time is too short, so it seems it is an exercise in futility. Is that what we should take away?
Look, I can't see any end in sight before December 7th. It's unlikely that anything will happen before December 7th.
Okay. Thank you for speaking with us.
You're always welcome.
Lawyer Kwame Adolfo is a constitutional lawyer. This conversation is centered around Article 97. Let me start again by saying that the Fomena MP, who at the moment is an independent candidate, used to be a member of parliament representing NPP in Fomena. And in 2020, NPP wrote to the speaker then, Michael Quay, to ask that his seat be declared vacant after he had decided to contest in the 2020 elections as an independent candidate. This time, he's coming back to NPP, and this is the reason why NDC believes that his seat must be declared vacant. In any case, he is a deputy speaker of parliament, but these are the other three MPs who have crossed carpets. MP for Agona East, Cynthia Mamle Morrison. She is an NPP MP at the moment, but she's decided to go independent for this 2024 elections due to the fact that she lost her parliamentary primary bid to her opponent, Christopher Arthur. Kwadwo Asante of the Suhum constituency, also an NPP MP. He's also going independent because he lost his parliamentary primary bid to Frank Siedu Bekweng. Also, we have Peter Kwache Akara of the NDC. He's also an NDC MP, but he's decided to go independent because he also lost when he stood for the primaries in the Amenfi Central. So these are the people whose names have come up because of the declaration of some vacant seats. And the NDC is looking forward to these declarations because if these seats are declared vacant, it puts NDC as the majority of this parliament. This parliament has been a very interesting one. A very interesting parliament, once in a lifetime parliament. Yesterday when we spoke with Sami Obeng, he says that if we would see a parliament like this again, it will take a long time, and it behooves on anybody who takes advantage of the lessons from this parliament to become a better and formidable force. So we'll see which of them has taken the notes of this parliament to arm themselves up to make themselves a better caucus or a better team. But it's been a very interesting parliament, virtually a hang parliament, not knowing who is who, but MPP at the moment is the majority, and NDC says that if these seats are declared vacant, they would become majority. 2 months into the elections, we'll have a new majority in parliament. Very interesting parliament if this happens. We are waiting for all of the matters that will arise after all of these.